Hare Krishna, dear devotees, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. I welcome all of you to His Holiness Chandramauli Swami daily class. And on the auspicious occasion, because today in few parts of India and other places, they are celebrating Ekadashi. And also today is Govinda Ghosh Prabhu Disappearance Day. Uh, Maharaj will be giving class on Devi Varnashram, which is very, very important topic for Srila Prabhupada also. Hare Krishna Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Maharaj, would you like to share me anything or?
Yeah, glories to Prabhupada, my obeisances. Yeah, just give me a second here.
Sure, Maharaj.
Just 1 minute. We'll be all ready to go. Okay, Omagyan Timidandasya Gina Jana Salakaya Chaksun Militam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pistaya Bhutale Srimakte Bhakti Vedanta Swami Tinami Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pacharine Nirvasesa Sunyavadi Vastyathyade Sutarine Vanchakopatarubhischa Kripa Sindhu Bevacha Itanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So as was announced, we're going to begin a series of classes once a week, every Sunday, on Srila Prabhupada's vision for the ISKCON Society, which culminates in his unfinished business. When Prabhupada left the world, there was a discussion between many of the senior devotees and Prabhupada just before he was leaving. It was inevitable. There would be only a matter of days or weeks before Prabhupada would disappear. So one devotee said to Prabhupada, do you have any lamentation? In other words, do you have any unfulfilled desires? And Prabhupada said, yes, I have one lamentation. And the devotees started to guess. And one of them says, well, because you didn't finish the Srimad Bhagavatam. And Prabhupada said, no, because I haven't established Varnashram. And he said, 50% of my movement remains undone because I haven't established this Varnashram system. And he spoke about it throughout the later part, not the later part, from 1974 all the way up until his disappearance, the importance of establishing Daivi Varnasrama. And he also laid out the principles and programs by which this Daivi Varnashram would manifest. And that was made, especially in the year 1977, when there were some key meetings with certain senior devotees to explain exactly how he wanted it. And he explained the importance of it as also. But before I get into that, I want to go back a little bit in history to Srila Prabhupada's vision for ISKCON when he was still in India before he made his trek to America. And that was in the late 1940s, when Prabhupada, after receiving the instructions of his spiritual master 2 times to go to the West and preach, he was organizing his life in such a way that he would be ready to make that move. And it wasn't until at least almost 30 years after his spiritual master Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati departed that he actually started to embark on his mission. But before he began his mission, he was planning his mission. In other words, Srila Prabhupada had an idea or a vision, actually a plan on how his mission would manifest and how it would unfold. It wasn't like Prabhupada was just coming, kind of with a blank slate and thinking about how to make devotees and how to engage devotees. No, he already had a plan. And that plan he actually put into writing in 1949 in a very long treatise, which is called the Gita Nagari Concept. He penned it and he sent it to one very important official in the Indian government whose name was Dr. Sardar. He was actually the president of India at that time. Not the prime minister, but the president. And of course, we don't have any record of any response from the president. But Prabhupada organized his ideas or his plans around Mahatma Gandhi. He saw certain things in the lives of Mahatma Gandhi that he felt were essential in upraising the population to spiritual life. Although Mahatma Gandhi was a politician in the midst of, it was said that he was a politician in the midst of saints, and he was a saint in the midst of politicians. So, but he kind of played both sides, working with political movements in order to bring about more of a quality life in India during the British, what we say, the British invasion of India, you might say, when they were colonizing the world. And India was their prime colony out of all of them. Actually, when they lost India, they actually lost everything else after that, because for them, India was everything. But that's another story. But Gandhi's ideas or his lifestyle was a mirror for Srila Prabhupada's ideas on how to bring Krishna consciousness to the Western world once he had arrived. And he wrote this treatise called Gita Nagari, and he made 4 points that were outstanding in this thing. And this was based on the life and activities of Gandhi. Gandhi, although he was involved with politics, every evening he would also make sure he did his evening prayers. He would gather some others together and they would have a prayer meeting. So he never neglected his spiritual side, although he was very much active in politics. And the second part of that same thing was that he was always reciting and reading Bhagavad Gita. In other words, Bhagavad Gita became his foundation for his principles that he was trying to formulate in the political arena also, because Bhagavad Gita talks about the values and qualities and activities of life, both in moral and spiritual principles. So Prabhupada took that one principle, holy books, holy gatherings, or holy, well, you might say, holy prayers. And that manifested in Prabhupada's movement as taking the holy scriptures, such as Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, and others, and translating them into the English language, making it available along with his understanding of those texts by explaining them, which became the Bhaktivedanta purports, with giving elaborate explanations on Krishna's statements in the Bhagavad Gita, both relevant to the individual spiritual activity and also as a collective understanding of how to inject these things within the society. In other words, how to bring the principles of Bhagavad Gita into the greater society. That was also uh, Gandhi's idea. So Gandhi as a person, he never neglected his prayers. He never neglected the reading of the scriptures. So Prabhupada took that, and of course, following Lord Chaitanya, the prayer was the chanting of the holy name of the Lord, and taking the revealed scriptures and translating them into uh, English and with Bhaktivedanta purport. So you see, that was the beginning of the Hare Krishna movement. Um, Everything started with Harinam Sankirtan. If you read the early Back to Godhead magazines, you'll find that most of them are filled with pictures in different places all over America where devotees are doing Harinam. So Prabhupada spread the Harinam movement everywhere by we didn't have temples so much. We had little places that were called preaching centers. Later, they became temples. But then he used those temples as the basis to go out and spread Lord Chaitanya's movement in the chanting of the holy name. But at the same time, he spent many of his hours, especially in the late hours of the night, reading the commentaries of the acharyas and writing his addition to those commentaries that were relevant to the mentality of the Western civilization. In other words, to make it understandable to Western minds. So Prabhupada worked hard. He started with Nectar of Devotion, also Bhagavad Gita, and then gradually he started to get into Bhagavatam. He gave us Krishna book. And one after another, many of the scriptures were coming, teachings of Lord Chaitanya and other small books, other Easy Journey to Other Planets. So Prabhupada worked hard and spending quality time, especially in the evening, giving us this literature, along with inspiring devotees to go out and do Harinam Sankirtan. Later on, it became an idea to take this literature, once it was composed and published and composed, to take it out and bring it out to the streets and distribute it as knowledge to the people in general. That became the program of book distribution. So Prabhupada started the movement off with Harinam and book distribution, and his books translated from the real scriptures became those books that we distributed on the streets. That was the main part of Prabhupada's movement at the beginning. The second part of his movement was when he saw that Gandhi, many places Gandhi would be traveling, he would visit the local temples. And even in one or two places, he even established deities in the temples. Prabhupada saw the overall deterioration of the Indian temples, the Vishnu temples around. He said they were like dens of demons who were dancing. In other words, there was no real education about transcendental knowledge, no recitation of the scriptures. There was just some deity worship that was going on in the name of um, having these Brahmins who were controlling the temples more or less just using the deity in order to bring in some money so they could also maintain their family life. So the temples became a business with the deity being the object of attraction. And then that started to become more and more degraded. And Gandhi wanted to make a difference and change that. He tried to, but it was not very successful. It was a big project. So Prabhupada, when he came, he also noted when wanted to open up temples of Radha Krishna worship. So that was the second part of his movement, to go travel in different places, to raise money based on book distribution and contributions that were coming in from the outside, and to buy buildings and convert them into temples. And of course, in 1970s, early 70s, Prabhupada went on to a very big project to actually build Krishna temples in India, one in Mayapur, one in Vrindavan, and another one in Bombay. You can read about the history of those temples. So Prabhupada put a lot of importance on temples. He said by establishing temple worship, especially in the Western world, he did it in India also. It's important because then people will have some place to come and learn about our movement and learn about the education. So his idea for temple worship was not so much just deity worship, which was also a focus, but an educational center where there could be discussions, dissertations, classes, seminars on different topics from the Bhagavad Gita, from Srimad Bhagavatam, and other religious scriptures. In other words, temples would be geared as an educational institution, and people would come and learn the science of bhakti based on Gita and other revealed scriptures. So that was Prabhupada's idea. He said that temples are necessary in order to attract people because people are attracted to deity worship, to get them to come in to there to visit the deity, and then open it up to a program of systematic education. And that education system actually manifested later in Prabhupada's statements about having devotees being well versed in the scriptures by setting up an educational system. This was done in 1974 when Prabhupada dictated what he wanted. He wanted 4 levels of education: Bhakti Shastra, Bhakti Vaibhava, Bhakti Vedanta, and Bhakti Sarvabhauma, which would comprise all of his books, from the very basic all the way up to the study of Chaitanya Charitamrita, of course, including Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam, nectar devotion, teachings. This was all part of Prabhupada's. Okay, like that. Is that good?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay. So Prabhupada was really wanted to educate people in the science of, because he knew without education, people would simply have a sentimental attitude towards spiritual life, simply worshiping the deities and praying for benedictions and doing some, of course, kirtan was there, but in order to proliferate kirtan, it was important that education in the different sciences that make up the process of pure devotional service was essential. And you see now we are one of the biggest book distribution societies, religious societies in the world. We have, at least on record, we have distributed more than 600 million periodicals. And that is what is actually recorded. Actually, the number is greater than that because a lot of the books that were distributed weren't recorded. And so we can say that I would say almost maybe a billion amounts of our literature has been distributed throughout the world. We're second only to the Christians who have distributed their Bible for the last few hundred years. Okay, so that was Prabhupada's other part of his mission, temples for the sake of education. The third thing he got from Gandhi was the Harijan movement. Gandhi's idea was to uplift people who were socially outcasts, such as they were categories as bungis, low class, and charmerers, also of the same lifestyle. He wanted to make them what he called Harijans, by giving them equal status within society. Of course, Prabhupada could see there was a flaw in that idea, but the principle was good. The flaw was that just by rubber stamping and allowing people to take part in all areas of society without qualification was simply going to fail. So Prabhupada's idea was to create a society where people would become qualified by initiation. So he started the initiation process. Of course, that started way back in the very beginning. All of these principles that Prabhupada adopted were happening simultaneously from the time he first began his movement. I'm just citing them in different orders, but actually they were all part of the same concept that Prabhupada developed before he came, the Gita Nagari concept. So he, rather than just elevating people to higher statuses, qualify them first and then elevate them. So Prabhupada started the initiation process to teach devotees, people who came forth and qualified themselves for initiation based on having uh, at least a working knowledge of this philosophy and engaged in regular devotional service, because at that time, when the movement was growing, we were a temple-based movement. There was practically no congregation. Everyone who was practicing Krishna consciousness was in the temples. And I mean, Prabhupada, initiated during this whole course of being here, almost 5,000 devotees. So his idea was to make them Brahminically qualified, make them Brahminically qualified. And so he was teaching Shastras through Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, and having tests and educational uh, arrangements where people can uh, learn and also prove that they actually knew the Shastras through various types of tests. Prabhupada wanted that. Now we have what is called the Vrindavan Institute of Education. We have the Mayapur Institute of Education, and there's other uh, programs going on worldwide that are teaching devotees the scriptures in a systematic way. Uh, so that was important. That would qualify them to become, they would be Brahminically qualified, and they could teach also after becoming learned and initiated in the society. So that was the third part. The fourth part of Prabhupada's mission, which was also inspired by Gandhi, was the village movement, to turn the villages into self-sufficient entities. In other words, each village would have their own um, rule, and people would live within the village, and there would be, of course, agriculture, cow care, cow protection, and various other means of gathering knowledge and services based on living off nature, such as learning herbs and using it for medicine, um, of making buildings, in other words, cutting trees and making buildings, or using dead trees for lumber and making buildings, and living in a very more simplified atmosphere. And this is where he said the Varnashram system can actually develop. Now, from the farms, he said it's at first, Prabhupada threw out the whole idea of Varnashram when he first came. He said society is too topsy-turvy. And therefore, unless Varnashram is there, society will always remain on a process of animal life. They can't come to the human form of life. Varnashram will bring people to qualify themselves as what we say, to come to the standard of human qualities. And these qualities are the qualities of the mode of goodness, which are mentioned by Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita in two different places, especially in the 18th chapter, the qualities of a Brahmin: simplicity, truthfulness, cleanliness, austerity, a knowledge of scripture, ability to explain scripture to others, and other detachment from material activities. All of these are part of the movement of mode of goodness. So I'm just laying the groundwork, and the upcoming sessions, we will get into the Varnashram part of it, which was self-sufficiency, cow protection, um, more or less back to nature, and how this is actually, as Prabhupada said, the part four of his four-part mission. He is very successful, and it's still proliferating. The holy name, um, translation of books and distribution of books. Temples are opening, devotees are getting initiated, but the farm communities, the Van Ashram system, is slowly developing, but at a very slow pace, and it's still slow. So before I end, and we can open up to questions, Prabhupada, when he first began his movement in 26 Second Avenue in New York, he wrote down the 7 purposes of our movement. And these are the foundations which he builds the whole movement on, which includes those 4 principles that I mentioned. One, and I'll read them, and then you can also find these in different places if you do some research. The first purpose, one, is to systematically propagate spiritual knowledge to society at large and to educate all people in the techniques of spiritual life in order to check the imbalance of values in life and to achieve real unity and peace in the world. This was purpose number 1. Purpose number 2, to propagate a consciousness of Krishna as he is revealed in Bhagavad Gita and in Srimad Bhagavatam. Purpose number 3, it's better if you listen, because if you read, you might miss. Yeah, you can post that after I'm done reading. 3, to bring the members of society together with each other and nearer to Krishna, and thus to develop the idea within the members and humanity at large that each soul is part and parcel of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That's number 3. Purpose number 4, to teach and encourage the Sankirtan movement, congregational chanting of the holy name of God, as revealed in the teachings of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Purpose 4. Purpose number 5 is to erect for the members and for society at large a holy place of transcendental pastimes dedicated to the personality of Godhead. That is temple worship. Number 5. And here's where we go into Varnashram. Number 6, to bring the members closer together for the purpose of teaching a simpler and more natural way of life back to the farms. And number 7, with a view towards achieving the aforementioned purposes, to publish and distribute periodicals, magazines, books, and other writings to endorse those 6 principles that were mentioned. So now you can post them if you want, and then you can also read them again. I think they're very important because everything centers on these 7 principles. So Vrindavanath, post them up again. Okay.
Thank you, Maharaj. Really, it was so nourishing and so important topic you have chosen, which is very close to Srila Prabhupada also. So I think by doing something or following on his footsteps can do something for society and also for ourselves.
Yeah,
That will be so
put the
nice.
seven purposes up again on the screen.
Okay, good, Maharaj.
Okay, the ones you had before. Okay, so here they are. You can read them and
Yeah,
take time to read them. There's an explanations behind each one of them, but I would suggest you just do a review of what I said by reading just the dark letters. And go down the page. Number 3, number 4, number 5, number 6, number 7. Okay. So we have to understand this movement is highly organized by Srila Prabhupada. He wasn't just doing some fishing and seeing what he could come up with. He had a clear vision of what he wanted to do and how he wanted to do it. What he ran into was to qualify us to come up to the standard where we could practice devotional service and be an instrument to propagate and to proliferate these principles worldwide. That was his biggest challenge, to get us to the point where we would actually commit ourselves and qualify ourselves to practice Krishna consciousness and become the instrument to bring these teachings to the world. Gandhi had the same idea, but in India, he was focusing on India. Okay, if there's any comments or questions, we can open it up for discussion. You can go
thank you,
to
Maharaj.
you can go to the gallery now, and you can
Yeah,
bring to okay,
thank you,
gallery.
Maharaj. Dear devotees, if you have any questions, comments, or realization, please raise your hand. And if you can't, then you type in chat window, and I will try to read on your behalf. My humble request to devotees, if you can, please switch on your video. Maharaj always said this is the way to interact with devotee in this Kali Yuga, at least not be in impersonal form.
Okay, what I gave today was an introduction only, setting the stage for the actual heart of my presentation, which will be the science of Varnashram and the importance of developing it within the context of the rural setting, in other words, within farm communities. That will
Perfect.
pick up coming, but today was just to set the foundation.
Thank you, Maharaj. So few more devotee can switch on their video. That will be great. At least this whole screen is covered at least with everybody video. That will be so nice before I just start taking the questions. 9 more to go.
We have 3 hands already.
Yes, Maharaj. I'm just waiting because once I start taking questions, devotee start switching off their camera. So sorry, just trying to.
Oh, you go, all right, keep going.
Okay, Daria Mataji, please go ahead.
Yes, thank you very much. Hare Krishna, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Maharaj. I was wondering before Srila Prabhupada, you said that there was no education in the temples. Did Prabhupada establish, for example, the morning program in the West, or that was already going on in India, for example?
Not so much. No, Prabhupada started that here in the West. But he wanted education, not just, a little bit here and there. He wanted temples to focus on that as the main presentation within the temples, to have classes, to have seminars, to invite people and have classes throughout the day. He said classes throughout the day and 3 hours of kirtan every night in our temples. This is also written in his books. When he writes something in his books, it becomes something that is not optional or discussable. The idea is to see it as Prabhupada's strong desire for spreading Krishna consciousness. So in his many statements about temples being educational institutions and not just places of deity worship, unfortunately, it's been swayed a little bit away from that focus. We need to get back more towards education, and not just have a place where people come, offer some prayers. That's nice, seeing the deity. This is all very good and it's all beneficial. But unless people have some knowledge of the importance of Krishna consciousness, what is Krishna, what is this, what is devotional service, how it works, and how it's relevant to me, and people will just remain sentimental and not have any real depth of bhakti.
Thank you.
Education is necessary.
Thank you, Mataji. Raj Prabhu, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. All glories to you. Guru Maharaj, I have three questions. Maybe I can ask one by one. So, Guru Maharaj, thank you so much for telling about that Prabhupada's movement was also inspired by Gandhi in some way. But if we talk about the current position or current, in India, a lot of people don't like Gandhi that much right now because of his misinterpretation of Bhagavad Gita in many area. Like he interpreted that we should follow absolute non-violence. We should not do violence even if we are being exploited. So I just wanted to know that how I mean, can we go
You
out
have
and
to understand, if you understand, Prabhupada took certain things from Gandhi. He didn't take Gandhi full force. He took certain things that he saw was important and relevant to preaching Krishna consciousness. But he also told Gandhi, he also found some discrepancy in some of the things that Gandhi did, such as fostering nonviolence as a principle. And I mentioned that yesterday, how his nonviolence movement didn't really move the British out of India. It wasn't until Subhas Chandra Bose started in the Indian National Army that the British couldn't stay in India anymore and they were forced to leave. So I'm not saying Prabhupada took Gandhi as a whole. He didn't. And you'll see he also found some discrepancy in the way Gandhi lived and the way the Gandhi also conducted his affairs. But he saw other things that were relevant and important. So therefore, we take that and not Gandhi as a principle to follow. Okay? Don't
Got it,
lump
Maharaj.
them together. Yeah.
Yeah. So is it something which we should publicly
No,
admit or say that some part of our movement is
no. We don't want to find ourselves criticizing Gandhi. That's not our party. No.
Got it.
Okay, I'll be right back.
Raj Prabhu, you have any further question? I think you mentioned three
Ye-
questions. So,
Yes, bro. I have two more questions.
okay, two more. Okay.
Our business is not to take Gandhi and find the fault about him. That's not our business. But Prabhupada did say certain things that the nonviolent movement didn't work. But Prabhupada was a follower of Gandhi in his early days when he rejected his diploma and they refused to cooperate with the British. So Prabhupada was part of that. But then he saw that it was incomplete in terms of making a transition.
Mm.
And Gandhi, Gandhi made some. Well, I don't want to really talk about Gandhi because anyway, it's not really relevant to what we're talking about now.
Raj Prabhu, you had more
Yeah.
questions. Please go ahead.
Yes, yes. Gumaraj, in current context, I wanted to know about this Harijan movement. Many times now, when we go out to preach Bhagavad Gita, especially to scheduled caste and scheduled tribes, which were considered as Harijan by Gandhi, they don't accept Bhagavad Gita and teachings. They are converting into Buddhism. They are converting into Christianity in India, and I have faced it myself that they don't want to read or accept Bhagavad Gita, and the reason is that there was some discrimination during the British era with them. So and
I
and
don't think you
and
can
not
get.
many.
Yeah, I know you, and for you to generalize is not the way to understand. There are devotees in Mayapur, there's devotees in Ujjain, there's devotees in many other places who are going into villages and having classes, and inviting people, distributing prasadam, inviting and holding evening programs on Bhagavad Gita classes, and people are coming forward. So there is a village program that's going on throughout India based on many of our main temples. Mayapur is very active, Ujjain especially. Other temples I'm not aware of, but other temples are doing village programs. They sent their devotees out with books. They go to the villages. Sometimes they go there and they cook a feast, invite people to come for the feast, and then they also hold Bhagavad Gita discourses. And then we sell Bhagavad Gitas in the villages also. So it's actually quite successful. You can talk to the devotees in these different places who are doing it, and they'll tell you how things are developing. And every time I go to Ujjain, there's always a new place, new village that they are visiting, and people are coming forward. Many people come to the temple in Ujjain after being inspired in their village programs. So I think we should focus on that and not look at, well, they're not interested. We're making them interested because we distribute prasadam too. That's most important. Without prasadam distribution, people will not be so inspired to hear our messages. They come, many of them come for prasadam. So that's a big part of our outreach.
One last question, Guru Maharaj. The letter which Prabhupada wrote to the president, it was back in 1949. And what was the name of the president? Can we read that letter? Is it available?
Yeah, it's part of Prabhupada's. You just look in the database, Prabhupada's letters. Dr. Sardar, Sadar.
That's Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel for you, Raj.
But Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel was president of India for some time.
He was president of Indian National Congress.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought Sarvepalli Radhakrishnan.
Thank you, Sridev.
That was the first president of India, Sarvepalli Radhakrishnan. but he wrote to Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel.
Okay.
As
Thank
per
you so much,
some
Maharaj.
information, he also wrote to President Dr. Rajendra Prasad through his private secretary, Shri Vishwanath. That's what mentioned. That.
Say again, your voice is very, very low.
Maharaj, I found one letter which he wrote to President at that time, Dr. Rajendra Prasad.
Prabhupada.
Yeah,
That would be interesting. Okay.
I can share this just like.
Well, just put it in the post. That's all, so devotees can.
Sure.
Rajendra Prasad, yeah. Okay.
And this is from.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's asking for help in his mission. Okay, Balavan Nitai Prabhu.
Thank you so much, Guru Maharaj.
Thank you.
Krishna Guru Maharaj, please accept my most humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to you and to Vaishnavas everywhere. Jai Shri Nityananda. Guru Maharaj, over the last few months, I managed to get involved with Harmony Collective's Goloka Farm, and I've taken on cow service. And so on Thursday nights in Perpetuum, I now milk and maintain cows. And I actually have been bringing other devotees, but also just people I know to come and serve the cows as well. It's really incredible. It's an incredible opportunity. Taking care of the cows, it's something I would have never expected ever in my life. What do you do with, I guess my question is, beyond that, like, how does one reasonably expand such a thing?
You're talking about the program in Ypsilanti?
It's in Washtenaw County, but it's related to it's a Harmony Collective affiliated Goloka Farm in maybe Michigan.
Yeah. Yeah, it's right in an Ypsilanti area.
Yes, yeah, the Harmony Collective. Yes.
Yeah, that's what's his name, Deva Madhava, right?
Yes, Prabhuji, or Guru Maharaj.
Yeah. So what was your question again?
How did I guess I have no question. I'm sorry. I just that program exists. It feels so fortunate, so rare.
Yeah, it's nice.
How do you include more people in that? How do you propagandize, I guess, the glories of cow farming to people who are just so detached from nature? I mean,
yeah, all you tell them is come and spend some time on the farm. Get out of the city for a little while and just peruse the farm for a little while. And then cows are there, the agriculture, in other words, there's a simple environment. People like to get away and do something different.
I see it enlivens the people that I bring do it. They enjoy shoveling manure, probably for the first time in their lives. It's strange the transformative effect it has on, especially but blissful to be sure. They radiate this blissful atmosphere. I definitely encourage anybody to.
It touches the finer sentiments of the living entity, where we're so grossed out with our life in the material world, in this city life. It's just we're out of tune with our finer sentiments.
Well, it is wonderful, and it is going on. So, at least in this mundane corner of the world. Anyway, so thank you. Hare
It's
Krishna.
good. It's important. It's very important. I hope
Sure.
when I come this year, I hope to go there and just maybe I'll meet you there and we can milk cows together.
I would love, oh my, that would be so wonderful. Thursday nights, I'd love to have you. That would be
Yeah.
so unbelievable. Thank you. Yeah. Anytime, anytime.
When I
Thank you,
come,
Balwanitai Prabhu. You got the best offer.
Such mercy. Yeah. So nice. Hare Krishna.
Jai. Thank you. Shridevi Mataji, please go ahead.
Thank you, Vrindavan. Dear Guru Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. As you were speaking about this profound and deep desire of Srila Prabhupada to completely rehaul society, I was thinking this is the spiritual revolution that Srila Prabhupada wants to lift us all out of this animal concept of life, bring us to human form of life, and help us to proceed. All classes of society, all walks of people on the path back home, back to Godhead, which is a wonderful, laudable, and most needed goal for human society. That said, we have beautiful temples, we have done massive book distribution, we have so many nice Vaishnavas getting initiated. What is remaining is this Varnashram Dharma, self-sufficient farm communities. Uh, this is really the need of the hour as we all see it. So what can we as your disciples do to put our little bit into making this fourth thing happen?
preach about it. And the other part is the Van Ashram system is to engage people according to their propensity in different services. That's the main thing. The farms are the place to develop it. The cities are not possible. So Prabhupada said we can do it on the farms, but the farms will also include a lifestyle that is conducive to the four varnas, which are Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya. Vaishya. Vaishya means farmers, pretty much, agriculturalists. The breadbasket, the suppliers of the needs of the people on a daily basis. It's the social system, yeah. What you can do about it is learn more about it and talk about it. There's devotees who are doing that. And there's devotees who are actually starting to do it. And there's a big farm that's just opening up in Tennessee now, where this whole project is focused on the things we were mentioning. So it's happening. People are understanding Prabhupada's unfulfilled part of the mission, and they're starting to move in that direction. The only problem is our whole society is not moving in that direction. When we get the whole society moving in that direction, then things will happen fast. We still have hopes that these cities will last. I just got information today that maybe in a few months there'll be so much shortages that there will be no food available in many places if things continue the way it's going. So yeah, I've been talking about it. Prabhupada was telling us the same thing. Western society will collapse eventually. It's collapsing now. Because they live on artificial. They need oil, they need various kinds of natural gas. Therefore, some countries have it, other countries don't have it. Other countries that don't have it either have to bargain for it or pay for it or invade other countries to get it. That's what's happening now. I mean, what Prabhupada was saying is starting to manifest in a real world now. So he wanted us to go back to a more live simple life, not simply for survival, but for spiritual growth.
Yes, Guru Maharaj, they go hand in hand. There's no possibility of us carrying on this present lifestyle and still thinking we can make progress, because at every twist and turn, now that I'm in a city proper, I can see how much people are suffering in the modes of passion, ignorance, and the cycle just gets perpetuated because there's no way out. We have no choice except to follow Srila Prabhupada's instructions, because this is the beacon of light in this darkness. This is
Prabhupada's
his
instructions are
words are the law books.
Prabhupada's instructions are his understanding of Krishna's plan to bring Lord Chaitanya's movement into vogue. Prabhupada's connected with Krishna, and he gave us the plan to make Lord Chaitanya's movement manifest. I mean, you can be Krishna conscious in the cities, but when your material life is ripped out from under you, how will you survive? Okay.
Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you, Guru Maharaj. Hare Krishna.
Just a reminder to all the devotees, 1 hour, we are just crossing, so 15 more minutes. Sadhvi Mataji, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna, and thank you very much for today. It's a it's one of my dream and wishes to one of my children to do this farming and so on. But there is something that I need to understand. In some country, especially here in Sweden, there are rule and regulation to how you get to have farm and how to take care of the animals, and they are, unfortunately, they are even the way of when if animal gets sick, they euthanize the animal instead of letting the animal die by itself. They euthanize it, and if you say no, they will find you and they will take the animal anyway from you. So because the rule and regulation, they say the human way of letting animal to die quicker. So what I wonder is, do my children have to have animal on the farm, or is it okay not to have animal but only just to harvest food and so on? Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's not true in all countries. You can have animals in most countries. It's just a few countries like that, I guess, who are very oppressive and very demoniac rule. But yeah, animals are there. You just have to use them. Cows are very important. Cows fertilize the field. Cows give the most nutritious food called milk, which is used to develop finer brain tissues, which helps us to understand spiritual knowledge more clearly and understanding. Cow milk is the miracle food for babies and old men. Keeps old men from dying and keeps babies getting nourished. Milk, Prabhupada spoke a lot about milk and the importance of cows. The bull also can be used for cultivating the land. When the cows walk on the land, they fertilize the field by their hoofs. You can use cow manure for heating your homes, changing it into methane gas. You don't have to, buy gas from, your gas companies. Yeah. Krishna, this is back to the way Krishna lived, the way people lived most of the time on this earth. 350 years of industrialization has polluted everybody's consciousness, and thinking that this is the standard way to live. It's not. This is an anomaly. Cars that spew out pollutions, water pollution, air pollution, food pollution, noise, crime. This is all of this is all part of the Western, what we say, the Western dream for comfort. It's just an illusion, and it's mostly fueled by demoniac sources who want to make great financial profits from this lifestyle. They can't make it. If devotees go back to, or people go back to the farms, how will they exploit people anymore? What will they sell them? They don't have anything. This, we won't have to buy anything. Everything is provided by nature. Everything. Medicine supplied by nature. Food is supplied by nature. Education comes from Shastra. Conveyances, maybe a little bit more simple. Well, what is the need to travel hundreds of miles just to go to work and spend 3 hours, 4 hours at work and go spend 7 hours traveling? People do that. You have to see the futility of this the civilization. It's destroying people. Their good qualities are being destroyed by this lifestyle we live. And I mean, I can go through the list of the anomalies that have been created by this industrial complex. There's so many. Internet is another poison that's polluting the entire environment, causing people to have, getting sick because of internet. This whole society is so dysfunctional. How people are surviving is simply a miracle only by God's grace. It's hell. It's basically hell.
Thank you very much, Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Bhagwan Chaitanya Prabhu, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to you, all glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Vaishnavas everywhere. Guru Maharaj, before I ask my question, was there a yes or a no to Sadhi Mataji's question? Did you say no animals are okay?
I'm saying we have to have animals.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
Cows are God's gift to human culture.
Awesome.
Look at Krishna. Krishna is known as Gopal. He's known as Gopinath. He's known as Govinda. His planet's known as Goloka. I mean, that's an accident or something?
A lot of clues there. Excellent, Maharaj. So I'll come to my question. Guru Maharaj, thank you for a wonderful enlightening us about Prabhupada's Varnashrama vision and how we are still lacking there as ISKCON. It is very enlightening. Guru Maharaj, there is two aspects to Varnashrama. There is Varna and there is Ashrama.
Mm-hmm.
The Ashrama part is individual, and that's okay. People can go through many, or they can skip forward to sannyasa. They can do whatever. It's an individual thing. When you're teaching newcomers, the varna can be problematic. If you look at somebody and say, hey, you are, how can we tell them that it's not lesser and higher, but it's really, because historically India has suffered immensely. And yeah.
I'm going to deal with that in an upcoming presentation, which is the Varnashram College, which is fundamental for establishing Varnashram Dharma. Without the Varnashram College, everything remains in a speculative way, as you describe. College, it actually sets the foundation. And we'll talk about that in the next presentation next Sunday, the Varnashram College. How it was Prabhupada, how it was structured, how he wanted it, and how once it's established, people will also come from the outside to live on our farms. And when they see us engaged in various types of activities, they will also be interested in doing things in the same way. In other words, as society goes down, people will be running to our farms for shelter. Then he said, Prabhupada said, we'll teach them Varna, not ashram. Ashram will come later.
Maharaj. So, the one thing I was thinking about is there's a movement in the US where, one of the ways children get crippled over time is through college debt, college student debt, student loans, right? And so there is a new bunch of kids that are saying no to that, and they're going to trade school, and they're making far more money as plumbers than they ever would have made as, like programmers or something like that. And so that is a type of ashram. This is naturally happening in society. It's not something that,
It makes sense because
yeah.
personal skills, I mean, IT is engineering. That's all it
Hmm.
is. And IT is sudra work,
Hmm. Hmm.
not Brahminical work. Don't think because you're an IT specialist, you're a Brahmin, you're a sudra.
That
Doing
is wonderful
sudra.
to know, Maharaj. I need all the humility I can get in this world, and I'm delighted by this classification.
This is coming from Srila Prabhupada and the
Yeah.
Acharya.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah. Just manipulating the
Yeah.
the material energy is just
Yeah.
simply sudra work.
Yeah.
And it fits today's society because everything is based on fast communication and transformation of goods and labors. So everything is set in computers are very important, and using computers in different ways, it facilitates our present society.
Mhm.
But we don't, on the farm, we can have one computer,
Yeah. Yeah.
get
Yeah.
everything you need from one computer.
Yeah. So the entire class, this class is disappearing because of AI, Maharaj. All the any kind of programming required by lower levels is disappeared completely. It's just not needed anymore. Yeah.
Now, this is another demoniac
Yeah.
intervention in
Hmm.
society, this AI, make people useless.
It has. Yeah.
And then what happens is you have unemployment. When you have unemployment, you have social unrest. When you have social unrest, then the whole society goes to hell. You have to
Thank you, Prabhu.
understand this world is not governed by people who are, you know, moved by aesthetic and moral values. Not. They're moved
Yes.
by economic
Yes.
gains only. That's their
Yes.
main program. If you take my book, you have a copy of my book. It's
I
called,
I do, Maharaj.
yeah, if you go to the back, the fourth page from the back, you'll see a QR code. Scan your phone over the QR code and you'll hear Prabhupada speaking for 5 minutes about what we're talking about now.
I will check that out, Maharaj. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhu. We have 3 minutes to go now. So I will take one question as a last question, maybe Astosh Prabhu. Please go ahead.
No,
Hare Krishna Maharaj,
we can go a
Dandavat
little
Pranam.
farther.
Please accept my humble obeisance. Sorry, Maharaj.
Asutos, Haribol.
Hari Bol Maharaj. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and all glories to you and all the Vaishnavas across the world. Maharaj, my question is kind of, I was listening to all the questions and it's kind of mix of all. So, two generations back, my grandfather or like great grandfather, like they all basically moved from the village life towards the cities, to earn money, to make good living, kind of like as we say, like good living, make money, build some house, and all those kind of things. And then one generation before me, for example, my mother, my father used to say, you have to study, you have to become educated, and you have to go abroad to earn more money and do some more for your upcoming generations. So at this point of time, Maharaj, while I'm personally lenient towards going back to the grassroots, and I personally love the village life and farm life, but what should be our directions for our next generations who are basically are getting raised in America, or basically in more metropolitan culture. How will we convince them to proceed in this path?
Your question is based on the premise that things will go on the way they're going, which I disagree with. But anyway, even let's take that as a hypothesis. Is then look at today's statistics in the world. Look at the amount of health problems. Look at the amount of psychological problems. Look at the amount of crime. All of this is being fomented and propagated through this Western lifestyle. More than 60%, 50% of the people in the United States have chronic illnesses. It's really high. And there is so much dementia. People are different kinds of diseases because bad health is due to this lifestyle. That's Prabhupada writes about that in the Bhagavatam. It's not a healthy life at all.
Mhm. And Maharaj, when it comes to the health, I also have a realization, and I'm grateful about the the reference you gave, Maharaj. So, if you remember, I was going through the some illness, and you gave me the reference of Dr. Vineet from Ujjain, and his medicines are actually working out miraculously. I've seen so much improvement, and it's not at all that much severe as it used to be, Maharaj, 2 months back. So all glories to Prabhupada, and it's all because of your mercy and Krishna's mercy, Maharaj.
Yeah, I
I'm
want to
so
share
grateful about it.
whatever benefited me. I want to share with devotees. So I have I just came across a book about Ayurveda. It was put together by people outside of Ayurveda, but who also know Ayurveda. It's a booklet. And it's about, I don't know, 50 pages. Anybody's interested, I'll send the, let me see, how can I get the book to you?
Maharaj, I
If you can
sent you
share
an
the
email.
first copy, Maharaj, just the
You
photo
just
of the
sent
first
us
page.
the PDF document, Guru Maharaj, to quite a few of us on email. If
Yeah.
someone wants, we can then forward it.
All right, I'll send the PDF to Vrindavanath and he can send it out.
Okay.
Yeah,
Sure, Maharaj.
yeah, you can download it. You can download the whole book. It's only about 50 pages.
And I would like to emphasize, Maharaj, that before starting Ayurvedic medicines, I was actually going through this allopathic, and I changed 4 specialists in 3 months of span. And my like according to the allopathic doctors, they said that my time span of wait is over, and the only option I have is to go through surgery. But I was reluctant to go through surgery, and I started Ayurvedic, and it actually did miracles, Maharaj.
Yeah, because they want to send you to surgery because it's good money.
Yeah. Doctors told that until unless you do not fix the root cause, all these superficial treatments are gonna be wastage in the long term.
That's the difference between allopathic and Ayurvedic. Allopathic deals with symptoms, Ayurveda deals with the human body and how it functions.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Guru Maharaj, for your mercy.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Prasida and Chaitanya, didn't you have a question earlier? I saw your hand up.
So,
Guru Maharaj,
Maharaj,
please
we are
accept my
just
humble obeisances.
already 1 hour,
Don't worry
90
about
minutes. Is that
don't
okay?
worry about the time. Don't worry about the time.
Okay, sure.
Guru Maharaj, actually, I got answer when you are answering to Shiv Hari Prabhu. Shiv Prabhu.
Okay, good. Thank you. All right, so we can conclude here. I think that's it with all of the devotees, and then we'll go back to our regular schedule during the week. And next Sunday, we'll talk about Varnashram College and some of the basic principles of Varnashram, and then we'll get into more detail from there. This is a very broad subject, and there's a lot of information available on it also.
Hare
Thank you,
Krishna
Maharaj.
Maharaj.
Audible.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Maharaj, he was asking. He actually is nowadays he's leading Narsimha Aarti in all the congregations, and
Right. Good.
he's learning. He has already learned the Narsimha Kavacham, that Ugram Viram Mahavishnu, that Narsimha Kavacham, and he is also learning the Gaura Aarti. So he was saying like one day I want to sing for Maharaj.
Yeah. Tell him if he sings for me, I will dance.
Yeah. Maharaj said if you sing for him, he will dance.
Thank you very much for today. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. Thank you. Thank you, Maharaj, for such wonderful enlightening class. Very, very important topic. And I request devotee, if you want to hear this Varnashram in more details, please stay tuned. Do join next Sunday and following other Sundays also, because this will continue on every Sunday. And yeah, so Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Anant Koti Vaishnav Vrind ki jai.
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj. Thank you, Vidavnath Prabhu.
Hare
Thank you so much,
Krishna
Guru
Guru
Maharaj.
Krishna
Thank you so much.
Hare
Krishna Guru Maharaj. Thank you so much.
Baba.
Thank you so much, Guru Maharaj.